Recording and also start streaming. Look at that. Now I'm recording and streaming. Awesome. So let's check out the stream. There we go. We're gonna watch now. Oh, that's nice. I need to pop this chat out. I'm sure there's a way to do that. I don't know that. Oh, I can hear it, like, you can hear it going on and on. Here we go. There's share. Where's the chat pop out? Oh, somebody's watching me. It's me, isn't it? I'm watching me. Okay, let's see here. This is the brand new streamer tries to figure out how the stream works. Stream. That's kind of nice. I need to pop out that chat though, just in case any of y'all want to say anything. I don't know how to do it. Chat highlight. Mod view. Shield mode. Let's see here. Chat appearance. Pop out chat. That's what Daddy wants. He wants the pop out chat. Okay, so now, share. We're just gonna embed. Oh, not what I wanted to do. I just want a link, guy. Yeah, copy URL. Okay, beautiful. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad this is getting immortalized. Let's go share this to Facebook. All right. Let me do my normal brilliant marketing strategy. Hello, everyone. That'll really grab their attention. I'm streaming some writing tonight. Is this? Ah. Much better. Nope, not quite better yet. Come join me, won't you? There we go. Come join them. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and share that to all our different places. That's me, baby. Wow, that is a depressed version of me from a while ago. Goodness, that's a long time ago. And I'm really depressed. I am sometimes depressed nowadays, but ooh, that's really bad. I'm going to send this to my friend Lucky. And nobody else. Just, there we go. I probably should have edited that, but that's okay. Come watch me fight. So glad. That's good. I don't think anybody else needs to watch me do this, except for all the wonderful people on Twix. And I can just post that. I'm sure the algorithm will love that link. I'm now done worrying about that. Okay, is that David Hasselhoff? I'm glad he appeared on this. Okay, that's enough preliminaries. I'd write a sexy snack boy. Pretty sure that's how you pronounce internet speak. Okay, so if this is going according to plan, I'm in a little corner up here. Yep. And then this is the bulk of the screen. Okay, good. So, let's start this in earnest. So today we're going to do Yamata-No-Orochi's Kung Fu style. / totality of his being. Honestly, like, these powers are in a weird concept space. I don't know if people that have never played Infernals and like kind of digested what they're about are really gonna get what these styles are doing. They're conceptually kind of dense, I think, because like they're not just like kung fu moves. I mean, they are kung fu moves, but they're also the things that kind of make up the description of these titans, you know? And that was, I thought, one of the coolest ideas that came out of Infernals was that the charms are the Yozis. That was kind of neat. It meant that, like, the Exalted sort of were like a thematic parallel to them because they use the same kind of powers to define themselves, and I thought that was really nifty. Sorry, I'm post work and highly dehydrated and decaffeinated, so I'm trying to put my brain back together. Okay, so what is Yamata-No-Orochi about? The actual myth of Yamata-No-Orochi is he is this eight-headed, like, serpent demon, very Hydra-ish, and Susanoo no Mikoto has to beat him. I'm pretty sure he has a magic sword. You know how this thing goes. Hero's got to beat a real overpowering opponent, and it's more about, like, his approach than his raw power. You know, this is one of the reasons that, like, I've always been kind of, like, flabbergasted at the way a lot of people play D&D, where, well, I guess I'm not flabbergasted, but I'm kind of surprised that they don't apprehend this more. This is kind of important. Where, like, a lot of modern D&D, it feels like we all line up on our side, and you line up on your side, and then we just go together and fight, and I roll dice and you roll dice, and at one point your numbers go down and you die. And it's like, that's not inevitable. That doesn't have to be the way D&D combat goes. As a matter of fact, some of the most dynamic and interesting fights I've ever seen arise out of the far more minimalist earlier editions of D&D rule sets. I get people swinging off of chandeliers and dropping rocks on people and setting people on fire. Like, there's all kinds of cool stuff that happens, and because it's so lightweight and you can kind of just have your description just intrude and have things happen without having to involve a bunch of, like, fiddly rules, it's really wonderfully cinematic. So I feel like we kind of rediscovered that organically. A lot of game systems kind of do that. And then you have pretty clever games, like I think Fate does this, where, like, whenever something becomes relevant, it becomes like a rules element that you can do stuff with. And that's an idea that I like too. I don't like that they attach it to, like, the cost system where you've got to spend, like, a fate point to make it relevant. I feel like it should be relevant when descriptively it becomes relevant, not when it descriptively becomes relevant and also this disassociated game mechanic that you use to spend your narrative resource points also gets used. Like, that's too much. It's weird because that's not how drama works, and it's really kind of not how games work. And even if both of them, like, kind of worked like that, it isn't fun to play that. It feels very unnatural. So I like games in which when you do something, it makes something happen. Marvel Heroic does a version of that where you can make I think it's called an asset. I want to say it's called an asset, where you effectively take an action and you make something happen with it. Honestly, Marvel Heroic came out somewhere in the same gravity well as Legends of the Wulin. I think Marvel Heroic was first and Legends was after. I don't remember exactly. But they both had that kind of tech where you'd roll a pool of dice and you'd make decisions about them. And that's, like, what really makes the fire work in this game, too. I think it's really cool. The drawback, of course, of D&D style combat is that you make cool decisions and then you roll the dice after to see whether or not the cool thing happened. And that's not exactly right. You roll the dice to see whether or not you kill someone or hurt someone with your attack. But very commonly, you'll have a bunch of cool description that will hinge on that dice, is the way it gets positioned. Now, I like it where you do a bunch of cool stuff discreetly, then discreetly you try to launch one viable attack, and that's a hit or miss. Like, that feels a little better, because there's real drama in whether or not the die rolls high enough, right? Like, ooh, am I going to hit him? Is he going to hit me? It's drama. I like the drama. I don't want to lose that drama, but I don't want that drama to be, like, the fulcrum on which you are either Hercules or Doofus the Clown, right? Oh, I rolled a 1, Gahork! I'm Goofy this turn, you slip on a banana peel and fall down a well. Like, no, that's stupid. You know, if 5% of Hercules' attacks made him into an absolute clown, we would never think of him as a hero, right? He would have been Hercules, the invincible clown. Right. So that's stupid. That's really, when you do that, you screw up D&D. You mess up the magic really badly, and that's one of the reasons why the sort of, and I think this trend is past, but this cringy trend of, oh, I rolled a 1, then I rolled a 20, then I rolled a 1 again, goofy stuff. That isn't, D&D has never worked that way ever. So, I kind of lost the bead there a little bit. So, what is Yamata-No-Orochi about? That's where I was going with that. Okay, so he's an eight-headed monster, and Susanoo no Mikoto needed to kill him, and he had to. There we go. He had to figure out a clever way to do it. He couldn't just line up and punch him, right? That was going to end in him getting eaten by at least 7 of the heads. So that was a bad idea. So he gets all 8 heads drunk by putting these giant things of sake, and then he fights them. And he uses the fact that it's drunk as hell to, like, tie into knots and stuff like that. He outwits it, and he more or less poisons it, and then he kicks its ass. And when it dies, it becomes 8 rivers. Well, I really like that last bit. But I kind of like that whole thing. I like that its weakness is sin. Because its thing is it likes to eat young women, which, I mean, it's the very dragon behavior, right? And so Susanoo no Mikoto is not having that because he likes this one, and he's like, no, this woman's mine, you can't eat her. So instead, I'm gonna whoop your ass, and I love that. Because it makes the thing kind of about sin and overindulgence, and that's neat. And the fact that it has 8 mouths kind of goes into that as well. And it's brought down by that as a vice as well, because it shows that there's a sort of corrupting nature to sin. And that's really cool. That gives it like a thematic weight, even though it's really big and strong, it still has this like corruption, this weakness at the center of it. And I like that when it dies, it turns into landscape. That really works for me. I can make that work very well, because that's exactly what all these guys are supposed to do. They're supposed to die and turn into landscape. And that's a lot of fun. So those are both really cool. I also like that it's a big, scary dragon. I've actually already got a big, scary dragon and a big, scary ogre. It's an oni, but it's an ogre. They're the same. They're the same thing. So I've got lots of big, scary things. But this is more Hydra. And Vritra, it's the other guy, which is an Indian myth, is a big ice dragon. He's an icy boy. And this guy is a little wetter. He's a very water-based thing. And he's a poison thing. So there's a lot conceptually to work with there. And because this wouldn't be a Joel Clark product if I didn't inject a bunch of 90s anime trash, I've also taken... Actually, let me see if I can find good old Sekhmet from the Ronin Warriors. Sekhmet, Ronin Warriors. This is probably telling on me in all of the horrible porn I look up. Yeah, there he is. I don't know how to spell anything. This guy. I love this guy. Back when little Joel was watching the Ronin Warriors on, God, this was before Cartoon Network even. This was like on Fox Kids or something. Like, this bad boy, this little green beast, this son of a bitch, who looks like he should sound like Starscream, but actually kind of sounds like... I don't know. He's got like a super like deep like bad guy voice. He sounds like an absolute mother. Can I say motherfucker on Twitch? I'm gonna say it. I'm just if I can't say motherfucker, I should be able to. But he's a mean son of a bitch, and all of his swords can poison you. And he does this one move where he has a bunch of swords. And he's actually just moving his arms really fast is the trick there. He doesn't actually have 6, but he's got this Ashuric look to him, which is very cool. And every episode he is in, he is the center of attention because he's just so cool. And, like, the Ronin Warriors is a cool cartoon. It's really, I mean, much like any Sentai show, it's kind of about style more than substance. Like, you barely get to know any of these characters. And I've watched the whole series several times. This is nothing to it. So it's not hurting for really dynamic, cool villains. But I gotta tell you, and Anubis is really good. He's got a nifty redemption arc. But these two guys, missed opportunities, man. They're cool when they show up, but they just... Oh, man, Sekhmet is absolutely... Like, he looks cool, right? He doesn't do very much. But Sekhmet, this guy, This guy he will ruin you. He has an attack where he blinds this guy with his I know he blinds this guy heals. It's this guy he blinds. This dude. This is the main character. The rest of these guys don't matter. I don't even know this guy's name. That's Sai. Is it Sage? Is this Sage or is this Sage? No, this is Rowan, and this is Kento. I think it's Kento, Rowan. This is Ryu, of course, because he's the main character, so his name is Ryu or Hero. It's got to be one. And I think this is Sage. I know Sai. This was my brother's favorite. He had water powers, and he actually had a cool intro episode. And it's cut off in this image, but he's got this awesome, and it's cut off here too. That sucks. He's got a trident, and yeah, look at that. That's really nifty. Like, I like that he's got like a dorky little, like it's all rounded and blue and it's a stupid shade of blue. Look at this absolute beast bathing in poison. Like, you just can't, like, these guys are supposed to be cinematic parallels to one another. Like, this is the guy that fights him, and he's so, like, he wins, but it doesn't feel justified. This guy feels like he should win. This guy is in charge. This guy is my hero. Yeah, no, that's a good comparison. Anyway, so I like this guy, and I wanted to put him in the game, because I'm a weeb, and I love weeb trash, and this is the trashiest of all weeb trash. So, good old Sekhmet here, and God, he is just the best in every scene he's in. I love him so much. Ah, he's great. Look at this son of a bitch. I love him. I wonder if I would get in trouble if I did a YouTube clip of him. I probably would. I'm not going to do that. Alright, so, notice that I'm not writing. I'm leading into it. So I've got Sekhmet stuff in here. So poison was a really big part of that. I also wanted the Hydra-ish elements to come in, so I like the idea of like having like snake powers. I think snaky stuff is a little underrepresented in the powers so far. So I thought this would be a good place for it. And there's also, oh god, what is... And I put this in the core book too. What is this sneaky snake lady from Demon City Shinjuku Snake Lady? I don't want this to have... I think she gets topless at one point, which I don't care about. I care about the fact that she's got... Yeah, she's got cool rubbery monster limbs. Like, that's really scary and neat. You know? And she fights this badass vampire dude. Is he a vampire? I don't know. He just rules. Like... I like her a lot. I think that's a cool, like, just having, like, wacky, goofy, like, worm? What is this? You know, crazy leech powers. That's neat. So I'm putting some of that in there, too. Oh, it's me. Okay, there I am. Hello. But yeah, so I've got a little bit of that, and I got a little Sekhmet. So there's lots of poison and lots of, like, rubbery, stretchy limb stuff. And then, of course, Yamata-No-Orochi himself brings this kind of, like, sinful energy to it. And he also has this kind of storm cloud energy where he seems like he's like a big typhoon is kind of what he seems like to me. And I think that works really well. Susanoo no Mikoto is a storm god. He's kind of like the Japanese equivalent of Thor. Actually, that's weirdly apt. He's sort of Japanese Thor. But, like... Yamata-No-Orochi both being a serpent, and Thor and, of course, Yarmungand are big rivals too. Storm gods always fight ocean gods, that's how it works. But, like, he's also like a typhoon, which is like the storm that comes from the ocean. That works thematically really well. It also is big and scary, and something I haven't done yet. I was noticing when I was writing some of these, that my initial plan, and this was perhaps naive of me, my initial plan was each one of the Ashura is going to be a big monster, and you're going to punch it, and it's going to be a big monster fight. Hooray. You know, because that seems like the thing that would happen, right? You know, you get all the powers, and ultimately you have to kind of turn into one of these Ashura. So Ravana is this big, multi-armed, multi-headed demon king whose skin is made of bronze, and he's like huge and breathes radioactivity, you know. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll just do it with all of them. And my initial thought was that Mr. Yama here, the King of the Dead, was going to do the same thing. I was thinking like, oh, I'll just kind of make him like Death in the Castlevania games. So he's this big Grim Reaper dude, you know. He'll be a big scary Grim Reaper. And then I actually wrote his stuff, and he wound up being a lot more nuanced than that. He was like, it just didn't feel right to make him a big scary skelly guy. So instead, I made him not exist. He's just like whoever puts on his mask and gets elected gets to be him for a while and gets all of his powers. And like he's just as powerful, right? He's got all these crazy magic things that happen when he's wandering around. But you're literally like his anatomy is just his ceremonial stuff. That's it. He's not real like a person is real. Like he's not like a big monster or something. He's just the office itself. And I thought that was just the coolest thing. Like the office itself wants stuff and is stuff. So that was really cool. And so and whenever I made Shuten Doji, like he's been decapitated. So his head is its own monster and his body is its own monster. So he was actually two different giant monsters, one of which was a little closer to like it wasn't so much like a monster as it was like an elemental hazard. Like 'cause his head just rains magic blood that turns you into like a demon basically, and his body is this huge rampaging headless abomination that just destroys everything it touches. So he was split in two, and that's like really important to his nature. And it shows up earlier in his power set too, but it did something way different than the other guys. And so I'm finding that as I'm writing these guys, I'm really getting very different things out of them. Chang'e was kind of a big monster, but he's also like a social monster. Like almost all of his powers are like mutating people or making them insane or eroding the social structure. And he's like, even though he's this big, like, protoplasmic, ever-changing pile of monster parts, he's also, like, invisible. So you just kind of feel his presence and things go horribly wrong. And I gave him this ability to hide from, like, because these things only last for, like, an action scene, and then, of course, you've got to go back to hell, because reality isn't going to allow the Demon Kings just to rampage forever in the mortal realm. But he gets to hide from that because he can turn invisible. So if he does that for long enough, the Sanzai from the core book show up to kill him. And, I actually gave them a new power. Darn, where did I put that? It's in this thing here. Let's see. I'm so excited to share this stuff with you guys. Let's see. Yeah, Divine Charm of the Rainbow Heavens and Venus. Oh, that's cool. Which, again, by the way, okay, so let me tell you a little about Chang'e. I told you that story so I could tell you a little bit about this one. Okay, so Chang'e, I am, that power, the Divine Charm of the Rainbow Heavens and Venus, okay, so the way Chang'e worked was he was kind of like, he represented like the social chaos that happened prior to there being like kings and stability in China. So the way he got beaten was whenever the emperor, like it wasn't the Yellow Emperor, it was like the Yellow Emperor's kid, finally rooted him out. He just took his big imperial magic seal from heaven and just burned it into Chang'e and banished him. Just completely fried him, right? So that seal, there's a lot that goes into any Chinese myth, but one of the ways you can interpret its name is the Divine Charm of the Rainbow Heavens and Venus. And I loved that. And this doesn't attach to anything else in my game, but it attaches to actual real world myth. And the fact that the Taoist Immortals and Sanzai all know this move makes me so happy. Because at first, my first draft of this was just, they use a magical charm and they banish him if they find him. Because I didn't want that to be a thing where you had to, like, roll with ranks and what have you. No. If a Taoist Immortal or one of the Sanzai see Chang'e in our world, they will use this thing, the Divine Charm of the Rainbow Heavens and Venus, and he's toast. Oh god, that's just so cool. Like, I like adding to the mythology of Lone Wolf Fist with actual real world mythology. It felt really right to write that. Oh, hey, check it out. It's all the Babel coming out of stuff. I'm looking forward to doing my robots. I actually put a little art in here. This is for me. This isn't for all of you. Don't look at it. Look at the ground. but yeah, I put him in here to keep me inspired for this. This is draft one of this, and I've got 4 different paradigms, and was it 3? No, it's 4 different levels: humanoid, giant, vehicle, and city, of all these different powers. And I actually have ideas for all of them written out. And this, ta-da, is the nav device, exo armor, blah blah blah, really basic stuff. This is all the little parts that you can install on yourself. So the plan, again, this is going to be a fat book. You guys talked me into making this a fat book instead of just a splat book. It was going to be a splat book, now it's a fat book. So the plan was just to give you these, just the robot powers, and say, you can get Kung Fu too. But now I've decided that all the different nations that I've given some thought to, let me see here. Yeah. I forgot what I named them. Yeah, the People's Fist, the Dragon States, Mammon. Oh, is that all of them? Is there only 3? Yeah, People's Fist, the Dragon States, Mammon. Is that all of them? I thought there were 4. Oh, wait, no, I think, yeah, People's Fist have 2. Dragon States have the Utopian. Okay, so there's 3. There's 3 nation states. I thought I had 4. I can be wrong about my own writing. Yeah, People's Fist. 3 nations. Yeah, 3 nations emerged from the chaos of the maiming. Look at that. I need to reread this. This is cool looking stuff. All of a sudden, like, I want to play the game that I'm writing. That's always a good sign, I think. But yeah, so there's 4 different paradigms, 3 different nations, and my thinking now is that there was one Kung Fu style that the first nation brought with it, and then it splintered into newer styles. And so each nation has at least one Kung Fu style. I might do more if I don't completely dry up my well, but at least a minimum, I want to have 3 actual complete Kung Fu styles in addition to all of these 7. So there's going to be 10 Kung Fu styles in this book. And there's also going to be 4 paradigms, which give you a bunch of robot powers. And I think that will be enough in terms of player options. So this is going to be a very fat book, even before I add the navigation stuff, where you can go to Hell and do adventures in it, and go to Bab-el Kaminar and adventure inside a giant robot world, like in the manga Blame. Which, by the way, I really want to get into Blame, but I can never find the first volume. It's just not in my friendly local game store, and I just don't want to give Amazon more money right now. So, yeah, I told you all that to let the caffeine stick in. Okay, so what are we doing with Yamata-No-Orochi today? Well, we've got a lot of stuff. Paradigm-wise, all those inspirations and ideas always get boiled down into one of these bad boys, and I have 3 different things to do, 3 different tracks. One of them is the actual style, the punches and kicks. One of them is their particular magic. His is poison. To give you an idea, Chong-Chi's was mutation, and there was kind of a radioactivity thing that I explored with or not necessarily radioactivity, but I mean that too, but there was like an Old Testament energy and a radioactivity and acid thing that I explored with Ravana. So he actually has powers to summon and control acid. And Yamata-No-Orochi has the power of poison. He can poison you. And so that's one thing. And the other thing is, yeah, so there's the style, there's the magic, and then there's like the bad thing. And his is great. His is just sin. So he tempts you to vice. And that's a lot of fun. So that's cool. So okay. Right now I'm working on the poison. And I'm realizing that my poison rules aren't clear on their timing or what they do. So I reread my poison rules, and I'm realizing that I should have written them more carefully and discreetly to work within the timing mechanics of the game. Because, and actually, let me go back to that. Let me revisit that and show you how every game is, all game design is iterative, especially tabletop role-playing game design. But I think Holden Shearer of Exalted fame said that, but he was dead on the money with that quote. But you do have to eventually release a book. And so this is how it can kind of get away from you, because there's a lot going on in this book, right? And I have to look up this stuff all the time. Like, I never remember any of the stuff that I wrote. Oh, by the way, some of you in earlier printings of this book got this page with this artifact there. I don't know why that happened exactly. It's been fixed in later printings. There's that, and there's something else that had an issue. But yeah, that is something that did get fixed. So I'm sorry if you got that version. It's no longer available. Hopefully that means that your particular copy will go up in value, because it's a little misprint. My bad. This is a big project, and unfortunately I kind of had to drag it kicking and screaming across the finish line, all by my lonesome. And I wish I'd had more money, and I hadn't been going through the very tail end of an extremely ugly divorce. But unfortunately, that's where it was. So that kind of made things that made things a little rough. Things are better now, like divorce over, kids safe, me in a decent job. And I'd like this to be a bigger part of the way I make money. So I'm working really hard to try not just make this particular game as good as I can, but just to overall upgrade my whole operation here. Again, it's just me, so there's a lot of skills to learn, and it can be overwhelming, so I've been taking my time with it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep trying to make this wonderful, phenomena of Lone Wolf Fists and the associated games like All Above Heaven. I'm gonna keep making them happen. Right now, soft plan, after Acid and Steel, I want to release like a 1.5 version of this, where I make it, I upgrade the layout a little bit, because I've got a lot of layout skills. Actually, you know what? Let me show you that. So I was looking at my copy of Exalted First Edition, and I'm just going to minimize all of these. And I was like, oh, I wonder if I can do that. Holy crap! There's someone talking to me, and I wasn't looking. Hello. Oh, it's Fidget Swift. Hello, Fidget Swift. He was swift. It was really important to his nature. Yes. My shirt's inside out, by the way. This had a logo for a bank that fired me, so I decided not to advertise for them. That you edit in program. I love fat books. Blame. Blame is good. If you haven't heard of Blame, look up Blame. It's about a giant Dyson sphere world that has gone mad, and it's just this huge, empty robot world, and it's great. That means you're a writer. No, you got the good printing. You've had a recent printing. I actually caught that about a month after I sent everyone's out. Someone brought my attention to it, and I looked at my copy, and I was like, well, rats. So that's what's going on there. Anyway, hello. Yes, you. I don't know why there's this. Okay, so check this out. This is my new version of this. Look at this. Isn't that nifty? And look, I've got these little bars here. And I don't know if this is going to show up super well. I'm just going to, yeah, look at that. Look at that wonderful texture that I made. And that's not like copyrighted, by the way. That's generated by the program, so I can use it. And like, look at that. Look at that centralized page numbering. Ooh, it's just fun. So in addition to all this, oh goodness, I had something else. There was like, I guess I've lost it, but okay, so let me see if I've got Exalted here. I think I do. Did I put Exalted somewhere I can grab it, or did I move it somewhere silly? I moved it somewhere silly. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, okay, well, I won't show you then, but I will simply describe to you the thing. Do I have anything that has that thing? No? I wish I could show you. A picture is worth 1,000 words. I have Legends of the Woolen. Maybe that has something cool in it. No, but okay, so Exalted First Edition has this wonderful thing where, I'm just going to pick up my copy of Legends of the Woolen instead. So it has like, yeah, Legends doesn't have that. Legend is actually a little crowded in its presentation. But it has these two bars on the top and bottom, which are just like little composites of the art in the book. Ooh, you know what I bet has something equivalent to that? Good old Cyberpunk. This is my second edition copy of Cyberpunk, and it's second edition, and this is just the coolest. Like, look at all these awesome stickers and what. I love it. Also, Mike Pondsmith is a genius. Reading this has been so much fun. I'm not super far into it. I am here. So I am, yeah, 16 pages in. But I'm already so charmed by his writing style. Also, I'm realizing how much I've aped it. Not, because it's been a long time since I read Cyberpunk. Ugh. Come on. Maybe Feng Shui has it. Well, Feng Shui doesn't have it either. Rats. It looks really cool. It's this composite image thing. And I'm sure I have Exalted somewhere in all of this pile somewhere. Oh, another thing that is first edition copy only on these. Check this out. There's like text there. Someone pointed that out to me. If your copy has text, bravo, you have a first edition. The current edition doesn't have that on there. I fixed that too. Again, yeah, it happens. But anyway, so there's this really cool composite image that Exalted First Edition has of a bunch of the art in the book that's just like top and bottom, or I think it's a top bar and all these, and it's a wonderful little visual thing. And I am gonna do that too. I thought I had a version of it somewhere. Let's see. Now I'm excited to show you, and I don't know if I even have it. Maybe I do. Let's look. I don't know. Unfortunately, my kids also have access to this, so I don't know where anything is. There's my hex crawl. Maybe that's where I put it. Let's find out together. Ooh, I got a lot of good stuff for that hex crawl. I'm looking forward to showing you all of that. Let's see. No. Well, rats. Ooh, you know what? Did I have that in photo? I might have. I might have had that in photo, or I might have had it in designer. Let's see. Let's pull that up and look. Let's go on this journey together. Oh, I also have Shadow Dark that I downloaded. Everyone was talking about it, so I thought, oh rats, I hit install. Well, I guess we'll have to wait on that. I hate that I did that. I've programmed myself to do that. I'm so sad that I can't show you that. Oh, there's Exalted. Oh, cool. Everybody chill out for a second. Just go. Oh, goodness. Come to me, Exalted First Edition. The only edition that matters of Exalted. No, I'm kidding. Second edition was better. Anyway, so here we go. I was making these, and you can see them on the very top here. Look at those. Look at that glorious layout right there. And yeah, it's just a little... All that is just a bunch of the art, the black and white art, just kind of layered on itself. And it looks really nice. And you can actually see that I'm just straight up stealing their layout with the bars and the texture. That's the texture I'm using. It's just part of the program. And yeah, so I'm thinking that I can probably redo the whole book, even if I didn't rewrite a single word. And it's pretty damn tempting to rewrite some of these words. But, oh man, that's going to take a while. But even if I don't, even if I do not, it would look a million times better if I did that to it, right? So I'm thinking about adding that as a template style that I can put in all the books, because it makes it look very White Wolfy. And White Wolf of that early to mid-90s era is like, that's the fire. That's exactly what I want this to look like. And again, they don't seem to mind that I'm stealing all their stuff. So hopefully they don't mind that I steal that too. So anyway, what are we doing here right now? I didn't come here to share all that with you. But what are we doing right now? So we're doing the poison. So back to the poison. Okay, so here's the issue I had with the poison. I had to look this up. Loop-a-doop. Poison. Okay, so poison has 3 stats. Virulence, effect, and duration, right? Virulence is how difficult it is to resist it. So that implies that when you get hit with poison, you have to use a set to make an endurance action to not get messed up with the poison. And if you do, you resist it and you're fine. So there's a binary defense built right into it. Effect describes what happens to you, and duration describes how long it affects you. So poison is interesting because it kind of feels like an imbalance, right? But it instead of it being incremental like an imbalance is, it hits you all at once, or you resist it. And if it hits you all at once, but it's temporary. So that's really interesting to me. And I didn't really think about it, but that kind of screws with how imbalances work. Because there's a lot of things that act like you would expect a poison to act, where they're increasing the aggravation of an imbalance. And imbalances are more, they stick around, but they build over time. They usually start small, and they have a small penalty, and they become worse as they increase in aggravation. So this doesn't work that way. This has a whole different system, and it means that they're kind of like a way more powerful imbalance. And why I say they're way more powerful is the way this game balances itself is it looks at the rounds and says, okay, how much magic go-go juice do you have to use your attacks this round, right? There's already an offensive tilt to the game, so using your magic to increase your attack really multiplies how much you can hurt somebody, right? Then it says, okay, what can you do this round? Okay, now it's round 2. What can you do this round? What do you absolutely, almost certainly have access to, right? And that's how it balances itself. So there is a time preference in this game. The earlier that you can do a powerful technique, the more powerful it is, right? Because, like I said, imbalances are incremental, and imbalances grow as you get wounded. So there's a death spiral, right? As the rounds go on, you get more powerful, but any of your injuries not only stick around, they generally get worse, and they weaken you. So you're really trying to make sure you're making the best decision you can, not just for this round, but for next round too. I've got to save back some of my prana. I've got to defend against this attack, or I won't have what I need to attack back and win next turn. Like, you're always kind of having to play this chess game with your resources of health and prana. So that's kind of how the game balances. But poison does an end run around that. It says, no. If you have a good poison right now, which you can just buy, right? And you've got it coated on your weapon, if you hit them, they get one of those, like, stage 3 or 4 or 7 or whatever. They get one of those really mean things happening to them, and it happens now. Round 1, they get hit with the whole wall. And yes, it's temporary, but these poisons are in duration hour. You're dead long before you hit that. It doesn't matter if it's an hour or, like, a minute. The whole fight's gonna be done before this is over. So that's pretty powerful, right? It gives you all the power that a really hard hit would give you with an imbalance, right? But it gives it to you now, and they have to defend against it or they get hit with the whole wall. There's no increment to it. In a lot of cases with imbalances, you can mitigate them with your defense. So even though it hits you hard, you can kind of push back, and even if you're not totally defending it, you're mitigating how much damage it can do to you. It still hurts, but it doesn't hurt as bad. Poison's not like that. If you don't completely make it not happen, you get the whole wall, and you get it for the rest of your life, because you're dead before that time elapses. So that's way more powerful than an imbalance. So I was kind of struggling with that. And I don't want this guy to have the most powerful stuff in the whole game. That's always like what you do. Whenever I'm writing powers, I'm always like, okay, did the thing I just write, is that the best version of this that exists in the game? And if it is, I always put some cost in there. I don't like nerfing them, but I'll often create a trade-off, or I'll make it more limited so you can't just use it in normal circumstances. I'll find something that makes it a little less perfect, right? So I don't want his move, poisoning you, to be the move, right? Because even styles that are kind of based around poison, like arguably the ninja style in the core book, Outer Darkness Venom, is based around poison. You only get that at the very end of the style, and it's really powerful, but it mostly just gives you some new ways to mess with people with this style. Not all of its stuff completely kills you, right? It's just a bunch of weird, cool, esoteric poisons that you get access to, and they're expensive. So you won't really naturally get access to them very early in the fights. But this guy's whole thing, and he's got, okay, so let me tell you a Magic the Gathering story. Back in Visions and Mirage, in that block, there were 2 cards that were released, and they were clearly released to be played with each other. There was the Crocus, I think his name was, which is this big, powerful genie. He was like a 5/5, and he was like 4 mana, and he would deal damage. He'd deal damage to you every single turn, unless you had a card called Keeper of Crocus, who was a 1/1 red goblin, and he had protection from red because he had to deal with the Crocus, who was omnipotent and made of fire. So obviously he needed some protection from that. So if you had both of them, he didn't deal that damage to you. So you had the Keeper of Crocus, and then later you'd play the Crocus, and your Crocus would beat them up. But here's the thing. Crocus was expensive enough and had a big enough drawback that it would kind of suck if you drew him out of sequence. If you got him first, even if you had to have very specific circumstances for him to have utility to you. If you got him before you got the Keeper, and you played him, he would mess you up pretty bad, right? And if you had more life than the opponent, then you kind of still had an advantage a little bit, but red isn't really known for having more life than the opponent. So, and it came out late enough that it was like, well, if they're still alive at this point in the game, they probably have some pretty powerful defenses against it. Like, he was like, 4 or 5 mana isn't a lot, but it's enough that they can counterspell him. So, there's lots of stuff to counter him. But the Keeper of Crocus was kind of great, because in addition to just being a 1/1 goblin, you could just drop on the table as soon as you started the game, because you start the game, you play him out, and you play a Crocus, a Keeper of Crocus, there he is. If you were fighting another red deck that was using the same strategy of just dropping a goblin every turn, they couldn't block your goblins because they had protection from red. So Keeper of Crocus was infinitely more useful in more circumstances and was easier to put into a deck. So almost nobody used the Keeper of Crocus. Well, that's what I'm facing here. So here's the Flesh Corrupting Venom, right? It is Virulence 1, and you can get it on turn 1, right? And then there's also, you'll very likely be able to get Blood Corrupting Venom, which is 12, and Virulence 3. And the problem I have with these is that I'm also going to have Bone Corrupting Venom and Soul Corrupting Venom, right? And those are very expensive. Look at that. Oh goodness, those are going to take a while to use. So the problem I have is that these are the Crocus and these are the Keeper of Crocus. I feel like these are just going to be more accessible and more useful, because how cool is it to make your opponent eat 3 dice every turn from basically the start of the fight, right? Now, I think that you start with 3 or 6 with most characters, but I think this is a turn 2 thing. So turn 2, you can infuse this into any attack, and this is a really important thing. You can infuse this, because it's got infuse, into any attack. So even if you have a crummy attack that you don't think is going to do a whole lot, even if it deals like 1 piddly little damage, doesn't matter, because they'll have a rank 3 deadly physical imbalance, but not really. Because even though you dealt 1 damage and they had a great defense, that's enough. They get hit with the whole wall, and they're losing 3 dice to that. And if they don't lose 3 dice, it gets worse. Causes crippling pain as your blood putrefies. So they better have access to a doctor, or some space age, antivenom, or they are screwed. And I feel like this is gonna see a lot of play, and I think it might be a little too powerful, because it hits them very hard, and it's the same cost as any other technique. So this seems really dangerous to me, and I'm not sure about it. The more powerful ones, the balance to them is that they are hooked into this, and this is the same balance for anything that's very powerful. It's hooked into these cost mechanisms. You're just not going to have 40 prana early enough that 5 dice getting pulled away from you, or whatever heinous thing I decide this is going to do. That's just not going to destroy you, because we're on turn 3 or 4. And at that point, if you can't figure out how to deal with that many dice being gone, you probably weren't going to be competitive anyway. Because you're either beating their ass because of the offensive tilt of the game before this comes up, or you're able to defend against it because you have a shield up, because this is the same cost as shields. And this this is really important. Also, I said effects twice here. Let's kill that. this is really important. This means that your attack doesn't get stronger. All this does is make poison. So most master level techniques give you a big pile of whoop ass and give you something cool. This only gives you something cool. So yeah, this is way less deadly because it's just not adding that many ranks. If you already have a high rank attack with something else, you can spend a fortune and get this cool power that gets tacked onto it. And in non-combat scenes, you'll get a really... This poison does more than just combat, so it kind of has alternative uses. So that's something I considered in designing these techniques, is that this is more like having a spell that you can occasionally find a cool use for in combat. The big problem is I don't want this one, especially this one, but probably also this one. I don't want those two to be so powerful or so useful and have such a powerful drawback to the enemy that they break the game as the best thing you could use 12 prana on or 3 prana on respectively. I don't think that's where they're at, but I'm at the Crocus Keeper or Crocus stage with these. So, oh goodness, I need to... What? No, I don't want to ignore you. I like you. Hang one single thing. I actually have... let me see here. I have a great thing to hang on my walls. I've been too lazy to use it. I'm not going to bring it out, but this is beautiful painting that I got. It's a print of a painting, and it's absolutely beautiful. Let's see. There we go. But no, I have a beautiful, actually a few beautiful pieces of art, and I have some things hung up. I've got my self-improvement and my calendar to keep myself disciplined. And over here, I've got the last message from my ex-girlfriend that I keep around, just in case I ever feel nostalgic about her. It's right there where I can see it. As soon as I sit down to write, the first thing I do is I look up at it, and I'm like, that's my version of that little kitten that hangs on the wall. Just hang in there, baby. Mine is that. So, just in case you were wondering... and if she ever gets wind of this, then I hope she knows how much she's inspired me. So, okay, we're doing the poisons. I've talked myself out of worrying about these more powerful ones. I think the one I'm worried about, and what this is going to come out in playtesting, is this one. I think this is too powerful. Or rather, I think that it will prove to be... And this is an important thing you want to not design for. You don't want to design something that is more powerful but less interesting. Right? Power is good. Power gives you a reason to put it in the game, okay? And players like power. But if you rob power of something that is dynamic and fascinating and unique and artful, then what you do is you make the most boring thing the thing you reward the most. And the reason I talk to you about that is because there's a game called Armored Core, which I know that all of you know about and love. And in Armored Core, they used to, in gaming magazines, have... build competitions where you'd build cool different armored core suits, the giant mecha suits, and they'd fight them against each other. And the most powerful one, there is a best. There is a strongest armor, strongest frame, strongest gun, right? And if you just got those things, you looked really boring. Because there was all kinds of cool builds. You could do like a spider mech, or you could like fly, and there's all kinds of cool stuff you can do. But the strongest build looked like a Gundam. You were just a dude, basically. You just had a body, like a normal person body, except a robot. And you just had just normal armor, but it was the best numbers, and you just had a gun in your hand. And you were way, way, way more powerful than all of the cool, interesting builds you could make in that. And the problem with that is that at the end of the day, they got 1 million people sending that build in. Well, this is the strongest build. Yes, that is understood, but it sucks. And if everyone plays that, it's just going to be boring. The spider mech is way more interesting, right? The super, like, tanky mech that's really hard to hurt is way more interesting. And when you can remove options and that makes the game more dynamic and fun, it is your job as a game designer to do that. They never should have let the Thunderer into their game. They should have been like, hey, you know how we've made the best and it sucks? Why don't we just undo that? Why don't we just take it out and throw it away? That way they have to be creative instead and develop their own method of making some cool off-the-wall mech work, right? That's way cooler. So what you don't want to do is you don't want to make something that is boring and the most powerful. If it's the most powerful, it should be really interesting. And by interesting, I mean it should have really wacky drawbacks, right? Like there should be something that makes this hard to do. Or it should be something that can only happen during a blood moon, or you have to sacrifice a virgin for it. Something has to make it, like, it's powerful, and that but has to be so significant that that's what people think about when they are thinking about the thing, right? Exalted does a good job of this with its magic, because its most powerful magic requires you to ruin yourself as a person, because you have to sacrifice what you love the most dearly to get the most powerful magic, and then all of its spells are these huge elaborate rituals that only work during certain celestial events, and they are really powerful, but a lot of them are really limited in how they're powerful. Like, you can summon a really powerful, like, godlike super demon, but they have their own ideas about how things are going to go down. And you can break their mind and make them an actual slave, but they're really powerful, and that's unlikely. And even if you do, they could kind of still worm out of it because they're demons. So that's great. That's wonderful game design right there. And it means that even the most powerful stuff, I'm not usually thinking about, oh man, I can summon Ligier, the Green Sun. I'm thinking I would have to ruin my character to even get the prayer of being able to do that, and then I would probably fail, and then I'd get Ligier. It's just a lot easier to craft a giant essence cannon and blow stuff up, or just make my Dawncast buddy do it. Let's just do that instead. And I love that. I love that my first thing is this even worth the trade-off, right? And sometimes it is, you know? So you don't want it to be boring and powerful. So that's kind of my fear with this, because I think this is cool, but it is a little boilerplate. So I want to add a little more to these poisons as they get more powerful, because I'm thinking about them less in terms of combat utility as they get more powerful, because the cost kind of nerfs that. But I'm thinking about them more in terms of what are people going to do with these weird poisons I give them. And something called bone corrupting venom, it sounds like they're going to kill a lot of people, and it makes me want to do that scene in Final Fantasy VI where Kefka poisons the whole castle. That's what I want to do. Brainy the RPG cat. Oh, hey. I always just got into tabletop topic. Well, hello, Brainy the RPG cat. I don't know who you are, but I know you're good people, because you're on Twitter, and that's the hallmark of good persondom in my estimation. Before you ask, yes, I am completely naive about everything in the world. All I ever do is work on elf games, man. This is my whole entire life, you're saying. Okay. Oh, I forgot I did that. I love the requirements that you have to be a bad person or deeply damaged to make this magic work. That kind of just makes me happy. Poison's evil in the Zhanghu. And all wuxia poison is evil, so I'm fine with this being just horrific. You know what, actually, just the fact that it's evil kind of makes me feel okay about making it a little unbalanced. Let me just... let's see. Well, about an hour into the stream, I think it's about time to write a single word. Let's see. No to all this. This was copy and pasted. The dreaded bone-corrupting venom. Okay. Actually, I should undo that. I should read this. Okay. So, what I wanted this to do, back when I was in chemistry class, they were talking to me about, I think it was called hydroiodic acid. It was an acid where, if you get it on you, there's no visible damage, but it leaches all the calcium out of your bones and kills you that way, so you kind of putrefy from the inside. And I thought that would be the most horrifying thing to do to someone. I was like, oh my god, that's so nightmarish, it kind of makes me want to cry. There's a lot of... If you ever take chemistry, you better be made of some pretty stern stuff. Because the other things I learned about were like VX gas, because we were talking about like safety hazards. And they're like, yeah, so here's the hazard label on VX gas, it makes you have nightmarish hallucinations until you die from fear as your brain is eaten alive. And I'm like, wow, that's so horrible. I can't even conceive of it, and I don't want to. And that's just a thing. People go into their work every day and they look at that label and they're like, yep, that's why I have the one bullet in my gun. Ugh. None. Couldn't be me, bro. I'm just going to write some elf games. That's a very small chance of dying in hell. Let's see. You'll be cured with the rare medicine. Okay, so let's see. I like that, but we're going to change it a little bit. So again, I don't want this to be boring. When you're writing the effective, and this is a high level thing, this is master level. These are the powers that the boss would have. So right away, Kefka poisoning a whole castle, that is great. And okay, so Jesus, I could talk forever. I'm gonna say it very, very quickly and simply. Kefka poisoning a castle and everybody dying has a sort of mythological resonance to it. I feel like that's happened before. We have a phrase, poisoning the well. So, like, we have already... There's something to that, right? There's something to poisoning the well. This is poisoning the well, the power. So, one of the things it's going to do is, if diluted in water, this terrifying poison is still deadly. Let's see. A single dose can contaminate up to... Now, how much... Because I don't really have solid... I didn't... Within the boundaries of my rules, I did not... I made the assumption that there could not be human civilization without relatively open access to clean drinking water. That is one of the prerequisites for making any kind of civilization. But I did not look up how much water a populace of a given size needed. So that's on me. Because I would have written it down in the core book and I could have just looked it up. I wasn't super interested in getting to that degree of infrastructure. So, how many hundreds of people can this kill? And can I do that in terms of gallons? Because, okay, so one of the things that is in Exalted, first edition, again, the best edition of Exalted, is the Alchemicals book, and in that there is a substance called Black Tog. Black Tog is the venomous bile that is made out of the cancer that's killing Autothonia, right? Which is, or Autothon, and he's like a machine god. So when this stuff hits water, a single drop contaminates like 100,000 gallons. It's unbelievable how deadly this stuff is. So, and they are just pumping it into the waters of creation. And it makes me so happy. That's some Dr. Robotnik energy right there. Yeah, so... So, I love that. And I want this to do that. So, okay, let's scale this down. Let's say one dose of this can kill a castle. How much water is in a well that could feed a castle? Let's see if we can look that up without revealing too much of my porn consumption habits with my search bar here. Let's go down here where hopefully... Oh, man, yeah. Oh, hey, look. Most of this is just joke stuff. That was actually a joke thing, so that's good. Okay, so none of my actual porn taste is revealed. Wonderful. Thanks, Google. Okay, water necessary for a castle. We'll just, it's totally how you spell castle. Okay, water supply. Okay. First has to build a well. Oh yeah, castle's under siege. Perfect. Okay. So it's on coastlines. Let's see. Okay, but how much? Not a lot of info there. Let's see if Quora has anything. I Aqueducts. Fresh water supply by population. Let's go a little more vague with this. Let's get a little broader. Let's check this out. Okay. Okay. Water consumption. Here's home water use. These are always kind of misleading. Maybe these would be useful. Nope, nope. No, 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 no. Damn it. It's all a bunch of stuff for kindergartners. No, I don't care about the global water crisis. I don't care about this. So much Malthusianism in this. Here's where water is running out in the world. Reassessing the projects of the world water. Oh my god. It's all water scarcity stuff. Okay, so fresh water consumption in a city. Let's try that. World and data. Maybe. I've used them before. They've got good numbers. How much water is used in cities? Here we go. Per capita demand has remained stable over 10 years. Okay, here we go. 220 liters per person per day. There we go. So let's go with that number. Well, let's go with the smaller number. They're probably a little tougher in the post-apocalypse. Beautiful. So this is the number of liters per person per day. Where's my calculator? Well, I don't know, but whatever. Let's just use this calculator. There we go. So 212. Okay, so that's the liters per person per day. So now we just need to know the population of a large medieval city. There we go. I don't know how to spell medieval. All right, 15 to 30K. Beautiful. So let's go on the smaller end and say that Figaro Castle was only 15K. So we're going to multiply that by 15K. There we go. And that gets us how many liters? Is that right? Was it liters of water? Liter of soda? Liter of soda. Liters, yes. Do I measure in liters? I don't think I do. So we're going to do liters to gallons. That's not how you spell gallons. All right, so how many liters have we got here? We have 3 million liters. To simplify our math, we should do 3.2 million liters, right? So we're going to do 3.2 million liters. There we go. And that is 84,535 gallons, so it's 8,500 gallons rounding up. So this, a single dose can contain up to 8,500, is that right? Did I get that right? Or is it 85,000? Where is my tab? No, it's 85,000. Goodness. So 85,000 gallons of water. Turning it into turning each drink into a dose of, and then we just go and get this name, flesh corrupting venom. There we go. So in addition to whatever else it does, it can kill everybody in Figaro Castle if you use it on them, which I love. Now, this raises some questions, right? Like, for example, if I activate it twice in the same body of water, will it double this potency and make it deadlier? No. This effect cannot be stacked or made more potent. So I do want to write that down, because this is just, you can corrupt a lot of water, right? And to get any larger amount, you would have to activate it again. So if it's a bigger amount of water, you'd have to hit it more than one time. And I think that's pretty well implied by the way it works. I'm not going to add too much clarifying text there. But let's see. Yeah, this mostly just sickens people. Maybe purge by vomiting or drinking a strong stomach medicine. This will probably not kill everybody in it. It mostly will make them hideously ill, but I still think that's pretty cool. But if you hit one person with it, it should decalcify their bones and make them rot from the inside, which is what I'm going to do. Please stream more times. I am going to stream all day today, all day tomorrow, and all day the next day as much as I can. Because I need to get this written, and I'm tired of fucking around with it. What program am I using? Okay, the program I'm using right now, OBS is my streaming program. OBS is awesome. Get them, they're free. This is all the Affinity Suite. I'm going to hit not now. I got all of Affinity, this whole suite, on sale for like less than $200. It's amazing. Let me see here. Aww. Ray has saved this. There we go. I love Portal. I love Portal 1. Portal 2 is garbage, but Portal 1 is really good. My daughter loves Portal 2 a lot. We're not now. And we're going to close that. There we go. And we're going to open recent. What do I got here? I've got Garbage, Project 1. Oh boy. What is this? Ooh. I'm going to say it's probably... Oh, I hope this isn't porn. Nope. Okay, good. Open recent, so that wasn't porn, so that's good. Is this porn? Here we go. Okay, awesome. Yes. Okay, this is the program I was using. I'm so happy that this finally loaded. So check this out. You can see that I'm getting the art that's in the book, and I'm doing a fade effect on it, and I'm going to kind of blend it all together. And, oh goodness, this should be up here. But, yeah, so, and it's all going to just be like this little top bar, and it's, yeah, that's what's going to happen here. So this is all going to be like at the top of every page, and I think that's great. So get ready for that, true believers. That's going to be the layout there. And I'm going to try to do that with all of the books. So there's a lot to look at, and they're all very pretty. And you'll also notice that I'm letting this have kind of jagged edges, which I didn't do in the core book. So there's a lot of empty space in the core book. I thought it would look cleaner. It just looks emptier. If I had more art, I could make it look like, you know, denser with art and a little more visually pleasing. It's a little bit much negative space right now. So, that's good water. I probably should have eaten food that wasn't pizza today. I actually have been on a pretty good bender when it comes to like living healthier. And the last couple of days, I just could not be bothered, so I just bought a couple of pizzas, and I've just been munching on them instead of, you know, being a decent person and eating vegetables like an adult. So now I've got a stomach ache. Yes, very good. This is still, I don't know about deadly. I'm going to go with dangerous. There we go. I do like that you can get an absurd amount of flesh corrupting venom with this. I don't know what I don't define drink here. Also, there's nothing that says that poison will stack anywhere, and this explicitly says it can't stack. So I'm going to go with poison can only make you so sick. That's going to be my ruling on that. I might need to clarify that somewhere in this text, but I think that is probably the most reasonable reading of poison. So, okay. This poison seeps beneath your flesh and decalcifies. Decalcifies. Is that how you say decalcifies? Your bones, rotting you from the inside out. Calcifies is a word. So this happens to me every couple of sentences where I'll teach this program a new word. So we're good here. We've done our research. We can live. We can sleep well.
Decalcify.
Yep, there it is. I spelled it right. That's a real word, so we're just going to learn that spelling. I have taught, and so, okay, in defense of this program, a lot of the words that I use are things I look up, because they're like, you know, their origin is like they're Chinese, or they're from India, or somewhere like that. You know, so, okay, obviously I can't expect this program to know all of the transliterations of the many ways you could transliterate those terms, right? But also, scientific terms like decalcify, which are horrifying to contemplate, are not very linguistically common. So I like giving you guys a lot of bang for your buck. I read widely, and I'm a nerd about words. I'm a word nerd. So anytime that I think of a cool word, I put it in there, so you guys have like plenty of words to enjoy while you read. And I think that makes the reading a little more fun. And I think the intellectually curious among you will look them up if you don't know them already. I imagine most of you know what you can imply. You can figure out what decalcify means because it's in relation to bones, and then I also tell you what it does twice using more common language, so you can figure it out. You got context clues. You're all very smart. Assuming you don't already know what decalcify means or can't parse that out, you've got enough context that you don't have to whip out the dictionary for this. And it just gives you something fun. Sometimes also, I will invent a new word that kind of feels like it should exist, but I don't have, like, it doesn't. So I'll just put that in there and I'll act like that's a real word. And I made it up, right? But you can still, because of the context clues, you can figure it out. So I have a lot of faith in my readers. All right. What does that do? Okay, so let me, again, I'm being a little derivative here. These poison things with him are going to all be a little bit samey. That's fine. All right. Please stream more times. No problem, everybody. So, first time... Oh, you never chatted before? Hi, buddy. I'm going to pin this message. I love it. Hoyo. I love Hoyo. That's great, man. Okay, so here we go. We got blood-corrupting venom here. Let's see. Eats through skin like acid. Here we go. If ingested, causes crippling pain as your blood putrefies. If ingested, can be cured. If ingested, it shouldn't be if ingested. If I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna tech edit all of that. Causes causes crippling pain. So, sure, you might ingest it, or you might get it delivered to you via poison blade strike or whatever. There we go. Okay, so crippling pain as your blood putrefies. Rank 3 deadly physical imbalance. Double space. Let's kill that. Can be cured with rare medical preparation. Okay, so all it really does is it gives you a rank 3 imbalance. So this can just give you a rank 5 imbalance. That's pretty straightforward. Causes massive internal damage and mind-blowing pain as a rank 5 deadly imbalance. Actually, yeah, it should be a deadly imbalance. Deadly. It's a deadly imbalance. I think it's actually mind-blowing like that. But I thought you could just say mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing.
Feels like it's hyphenated. I think it's hyphenated. I'm gonna hyphenate it and see if it likes that. Oh, hello. Oh, good. Well, thank you, Windows Security. I didn't ask you to do that, and I don't expect you to, and I assume you fucked it up, but thank you. Alright. Yeah, I'm getting kind of sick of Windows just every couple of days being like, oh, hey, I was doing something in the background you don't know about, didn't ask me to do, and would have told me no if I'd asked for permission, but I didn't, and here's the results of that. Glad I told you about this. And it just makes me realize that I can't trust anything about Windows. Like, it is constantly doing other things. It has its own agenda, and it hates me. So, this Aquaman cup is refreshing me. Okay. All my coffee is gone, and now all my water is gone. This stream is not long for this world, people. Let's see. No, I'll probably sit here until I turn into a mummy. Let's see. Rotting you from the inside out causes massive internal damage and mind-blowing pain as a rank 5 deadly imbalance. Period. I think that's good. Can be cured by a rank 5 intellect action from the art of the doctor. Intellect action. Actually, I don't want this to be cured. Let's do this. Cannot be easily cured and must run its course. A practitioner of the art of the doctor can transmigrate. Actually, I'm going to go with transfer the imbalance into a chi organ. Is that what they're called? Did I call them chi organs? I gotta look it up now. Ah, I love the art of the Doctor. One of my favorite things that I straight up just stole from Legends of the Wulin is the art of the Doctor. It's such a cool secret art where you're just like, you don't heal people, you just move their injuries into their body and drive them insane. That's just great. I'm so happy about the art. No, internal alchemy organ. That's not a chi organ. Into an internal alchemy organ. That's actually so much better. Internal alchemy organ. Yeah. Yeah, so how does this work? The health systems of the body generally tick along quietly in the healthy human frame. They can be used by a crafty doctor to absorb grievous outward injuries. This is not without strange consequences, however. A character whose injuries are internalized in one of the following organs suffers a unique imbalance while they heal. The mechanical penalty is equal in rank to the amount of ranks healed from the located imbalance, and the dramatic penalty is determined by the alchemy organ used to compensate, described below. I love this. God, that's cool. And then we're just going to go with Lone Wolf Fist, PP, which stands for page for reasons I'll never comprehend, 120. It will suck. Oh, I spelled alchemy wrong. It will suck when I update Lone Wolf Fist and all of these don't work anymore, but it's fine. It'll be fine. Alright, so you just can't cure this stuff. It sucks. It's very powerful and deadly. For 40 prana, that should be fine. I think that'll do. That's a fine technique. It does a lot of cool stuff. It's resistant to healing. If you hit them with it, they will very likely be powerfully crippled, and it gets worse. So that's really cool. I think that'll be fine. And I really like that. I think that's really powerful and neat. So there's the Bone Corrupting Venom. And I need to pee. And after I pee, we'll write the Soul Corrupting Venom. And Soul Corrupting Venom, I want to be an absolute motherfucker. So I'm really excited about that. Alright. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Hello, handsome. Let's scoot you down there, though. Please stream more times. Your wish is my command. I wonder if anyone is responding to me on Twix, which is Twitter plus X. Twix. Yeah. Man, I say a lot of fun stuff on here. This thing doesn't like to update immediately. Oh, it's Brendan. Hello, Brendan. I wonder if anyone's talking to me on my Discord. I do have to pee, but I am addicted to social media. Okay. I'll be right back. You guys just hang tight. I will entertain you with my my notes. You can read those while I go pee. And now my hands are clean. I'm going to immediately touch the dirtiest thing in my house, which is to say my keyboard. There we go. Hello, handsome. All right. Boop. Google Lens. We don't like that at all. All right. Let's see how I work here. I don't know why I have these on. There's no sound. I can hear myself, I guess. So there's that. Okay. We've been at this for an hour and 30 minutes. Let's do another half an hour. So I actually had a little bit of a brainwave while I was taking a tinkle, as happens sometimes. And I was remembering, let me see if I can find it. Sekhmet Ronin Warriors underwater. There's a scene where Mr. Sekhmet here is underwater and he is fighting Sai of the Torrent here, and his poison, what his poison is doing is it's killing all the fish around. These big pink clouds, because pink equals evil in old trash 90s anime. And, oh my god, I forgot how cool this anime was. And yeah, his clouds of poison are killing everything around him, and they're burning Mr. Ryu's flesh as he tries to defend Sai while he is recuperating underwater in his elemental thing. Who is this? I don't even remember this character. Yoroiden Suzanagi, huh? Well, she looks bloody awesome. Man, I gotta get back into that show. I remember her. She was cool. I liked her a lot. She was a sweetheart. I remember her too. Anubis turned into a good guy, spoilers, and then he got replaced with this chick who was an absolute beast. And then she got his armor and was equally as cool as him. And it was actually great. You know what? I take back everything bad I said earlier. Ronin Warriors is absolutely glorious, and the world is a better place because it exists. So I don't see any still images of that, but it looked like... Let's go back a little bit here. Oh my god. Ronin Warriors is the flippin' best, bro. Yeah, it looked like, yeah, this guy right here. Let's violate some copyright laws real quick. Oh, no. I don't need that. I don't need any of this. Let's just scoot ahead. Let's see. I'm just going to get a still image here. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so there's Sai. He's recuperating. And he's like, oh, I'm unconscious. And then there was Ryu. Probably getting his butt kicked. Man, it's just not wanting to show me that image, is it? Yeah, there's Ryu getting his armor. He's like, Daoji, give me the armor. And there's Yuli and White Blaze. Oh, there's Ryu again, getting his butt kicked. There's good old Sekhmet, cocky SOB that he is. And he's like, well, Ryu of Wild... They call him Ryu. Well, Ryu of Wildfire. It seems you've fallen into my trap. And my trap is that I have the same power I had before, which is poison. You should have thought of that, Ryu of the Wildfire. Yeah, see, all those little bubbles, that's poison. And he's like, aha, I missed you, But did I? And yeah, he's all fucked up. Like, look at his, like, oh, he's screwed. So I was reminded of this, and there's another earlier episode which I'm not going to show because I'm probably already going to get canceled or whatever happens to you whenever Twitch decides that you've stolen enough stuff from other people. But like, okay, so I wanted to show you that because you can do that with bone corrupting venom now, right? Because if you're underwater and they're underwater and you use it, all of the water is poisoned with this. And although that only hurts them a little bit, it will still mess with them. And I think that's cool. So that's neat. I might make it a little deadlier. I feel like maybe that's too weak. Like maybe it should be rank 2. Oh well, it's fine. But, and this is a thing. So I need to add another effect to this. This is actually making it too powerful, I think. Rather than, let me see. If applied to the sense organs of the target, they are deprived of those senses. Yeah, there we go. For the duration, instead of the deadly imbalance effect. Okay, so I like this a lot. Because there is, and I'm not going to show you this, but there's an earlier episode of Ronin Warriors where every time Sekhmet shows up, he's awesome. Because I was thinking, like, every single time they fight him, he finds a new way of kicking their asses. But okay, so one of the times he shows up, Ryu again is trying to save Rowan, who is in a giant thing of crystal and rejuvenating there. And Sekhmet throws his sword, and the poison from his sword, it like goes over Ryu's head, and the poison drips into his eyes and blinds him. And I want that to be something that this does. So we now have the first time they fought him, the second time they fought him, and the third time they fought him. And that makes me very happy. So I now have all the Sekhmet I could ever want in this cool ass style. So, Soul Corrupting Venom. Okay, so what does this do? Well, if you need water to make the other one work, this should probably either be able to poison the land or poison the sky, right? Like big billowing clouds of poison. I really like that second one, so I'm going to do that one. I think that works with the storm energy that this, because I'm not just doing Sekhmet here, right? I'm doing Yamata-No-Orochi. Yamata-No-Orochi is like a storm. So I really like the idea of there being big billowing pink clouds of evil, because again, pink equals evil in 90s anime trash. And if you breathe them, you just collapse. That's cool. So that's what this is going to do. It's a supreme level technique, so it needs to affect the whole, the whole tract, and that works really, really good. So I say if someone gets hit with this, they should be well and properly screwed, so they should be in agony, and they should be like blinded and deafened and all that stuff. So we are going to do two things with it. So right away we're gonna have two things happening. Boop, boop. So, and we can probably just ape, yeah. I'm just going to kind of ape what I said there. So, this poison destroys not only your body, but your soul as well. I am not screwing around with this poison, for the record. Causes your flesh to slough from your bones, and your mind and will to, what's a good word here? Let's go with disintegrate. Oh, I didn't spell from correctly. Of course I didn't spell disintegrate correctly either. D-I-S-I. Disintegrate. What a word. All right. Let's see here. Let's do this. As a rank 7 deadly imbalance, also causing blindness. While you are poisoned. Oh, and this should be, what's the duration here? Yeah, duration 1 day. That's probably fine. Yeah, duration 1 day, duration 1 day. Oh goodness. Yeah. I need these to be here. Boop. 1 day is probably enough. Although I think I'm going to make this 1 week. Because if this stuff hits you, it should really ruin you. I'm fine with this only lasting a day, like both of these lasting a day. That's fine. I might make this half a day then. So instead of a day, I can do 12 hours. So now I got 12 hours or 1 hour. So 1 hour, 12 hours, 1 day. And this will be a nightmarish week of being totally blind and your soul eroding. All right, while you are poisoned, you cannot gain karma. Gain or spend karma. So that is actually already something that another different poison does. So there's actually precedence for this in the rules. And you must understand, I am an old school GM. I'm fine if the vampire drains your levels. I don't care if that hurts your feelings. It's a vampire. It's not a good guy. Not at all. But yeah, let's see, what is it? Dying Dragon Curse. Characters poisoned with this cannot heal or generate prana from their chakra. Nope, wrong one. Alright. Let's see. Outer Darkness Venom. Yeah, there it is. Outer Darkness Venom. Characters poisoned with this can no longer spend or accumulate karma. So yeah, that is a soul eroding wound. You get hit with this. It doesn't just attack you, the character. It attacks you, the player, because you don't get your XP anymore. So that's really cruel and evil and good. This guy has an evil so transcendent it actually hurts the metagame. That's wonderful. You cannot gain or spend karma. So that's just super mean, and it makes you blind, and it gives you a terrible imbalance, so this is nothing to mess with. While active, this power seeps into the surrounding atmosphere as a billowing cloud of caustic venom. There we go. This poisons the air in the surrounding tract. Let's give them all good old-fashioned blood-corrupting venom with airborne clouds of blood-corrupting venom. Yeah, and since this causes blindness and this causes blindness, there is kind of a link between this. I misspelled airborne, and blouds I spelled correctly, but clouds I failed to spell correctly. A blood-corrupting venom. With an airborne... Well, I mean, clouds are airborne. Let's just say with clouds of blood-corrupting venom. If exposed to the... If any... Let me see. If inhaled, characters take... No, for every breath inhaled. There we go. For every breath inhaled, characters receive one dose of the terrible poison. There we go. That's just mean as hell. So that's really powerful. Every Brita. I don't know how to type, so I'm just hunting and pecking for the record. But I'm just really fast at it. All right. And I think that's good. I think it is as powerful as Outer Darkness Venom, and it's very expensive, but it can really ruin someone's week, and it makes a big poison cloud, which kind of ruins everybody's week. This is also not selective. Soul Corrupting Venom makes all your friends sick as well. So one of the things I need to do is I need to allow each of these powers to create an anti-venom that you can give to your mates. So we're gonna write that down once, and we're gonna say, here we go. Alternatively, this power may be used to create a dose of anti-venom. It is, I think it actually is anti-venom. Yeah. There we go. I always hear anti-venom, and I don't think that's right. I think it is actually anti-venom.
Anti-venom.
Anti-venom. Okay. Yeah. And anti-serum containing antibodies against specific poisons, especially those in the venom of snakes, spiders, and scorpions. Yeah. So there's your vocabulary word for the day, kids. Anti-venom.
Anti-venom.
Yeah. It's not anti-venom, it's anti-venom. The more you know, right? Dose of anti-venom. That renders a character immune to this poison for 24 hours. So, this is important. Actually, be used without cost. You are immune to your own. You are immune to any poison that you can generate. There we go. So now, these guys can poison everyone else, but they can't poison themselves or each other. So we're going to make sure that all of these powers... There we go. And see, it takes you a little bit to think of this stuff, I find. I forgot how cool of a name this was, the belly-ripping dew claw. That's cool. Okay, so now the poison is very robust, right? It does stuff in the broader game. It has all these implications for how scions of Yamata-No-Orochi interact with each other. This is something I liked about all the legal powers that the scions of I'm calling them scions. They're heroes. They're damned heroes, but they feel like scions from the White Wolf game Scion. So I'm just gonna call them scions. But all of the evil princes of Yama have this interesting legal entanglement where they're kind of working for the same law firm, the same overall bureaucracy, and so all of their legal powers feed into each other and kind of conflict too in its interesting way. So it sort of defines how they relate to each other. And this defines how all of the incestuous freak siblings of Yamata-No-Orochi interact with each other. They can poison everyone but themselves and each other, and they can selectively make their friends and their associates immune to their poison and other people's poison. So there really is an in-crowd element to this, which I really quite like. That introduces a social element to these powers. So these are robust, cool powers that do a lot of stuff now. They could maybe do a little bit more. They could be a little more interesting, but I think as an initial draft, that's solid. So I'm really pleased with that writing. So let's move on to the next set of powers, shall we? Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to wrap this up at 2 hours. I'll probably keep writing, but, well, no, I'm going to go see a movie. But, this new Transformer movie. Aw, thank you. I do looks good. Although I could probably use a haircut and a shave. Yeah, sexy snack boy. Hello, sexy snack boy. Oh, I opened this tab twice because I'm an idiot. Good job, me. Let's see if X.com likes me. Nope. Well, fair enough. Let's go back to this. Oh, where's my pop out? Actually, can I make this just a tiny little touch smaller? And oop, nope. No, I don't care for this. Thank you. That'll be all. Okay. All right. I think I can. I think I can. I'm gonna. Yeah, here we go. I like this little chat pop out. This is cool. Ah, yes, the recycle bin. That'll look really good on camera. Let's put that down here. I feel like that's too high. Come on. There you go. Oh, you can't. It doesn't like that. Look, I can't put it there. Well, now I'm sad. This is a distracting square here. I'm going to move you into the recycle bin clear thing. Oh, there it is. There was something there. Well, not anymore. That was probably spyware, huh? Oh, that's not good. What? Wait just a second. What? That's a huge folder. Why restore? That's strange. That's a real big folder that I just deleted inadvertently. Where are you, buddy? Where'd you go? Are you here? No? How interesting. There you are. What are you? Let's open you up. Huh. Executable file. Downloaded on the 18th. Huh. Well, that's probably spyware. I'm glad I was trying to do that. Let's see what happens if I kill this. Yeah, you can die. I wonder if allowing my children to have free access to my computer was a mistake. Yeah. Sorry, bro. Apparently, the gods have chosen that I will not have that spyware today. Good for the gods. Thanks, mighty Ashura. I am in your debt once more. Yeah, that executable file looked pretty bad. I'm glad it's dead. So, we'll get a real antivirus later, and we'll give this computer a nice thorough scrubbing, and then we'll make a nice little policy where the kids can't touch it anymore. I'll probably have to password lock it. So, that'll be that. Let's see what else Yamata-No-Orochi. Now that I've cleansed myself of sin, let us indulge in some more with the Yamata-No-Orochi powers. So, he has, or she, or they. I'm going to go with they. I'm going to go with they, them pronouns for Yamata-No-Orochi. I don't have any chicks in my pantheon. Mythology is replete with evil dudes. There are evil chicks, just not in the mythologies that I was studying. Or at least I couldn't find any. So, he has, or they have, temptation-based powers. I have sicken, grab, and stretchy limbs. Tempt, to sin-based imbalance. Ooh, I should probably design the sin-based imbalances and think about those. I've got envenom your body, which I think is cool, and I'll have to think about. Dodge, good old +1 defense, escape, grabs, and contortions, and then strike. +1 attack, +1 effort, or -1 effort or -1d10 defense. I like that strike, so that's just going to be, and I've already got a version of that in Sinful Serpent Dance here. Oh, we've only got 10 more minutes to work on this. Okay, well, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get these filled up really quick. So I will start with the ones I already have a little bit of design for. So we're going to start with offense. There we go. Yeah, here we go. We'll use this verbiage right here. Click. And then we're going to go... Oh, what's a good sneaky move? We're going to go with defense, penetrating, strike. That'll work. And this will be an attack. Well, that's easy. Requires arm. Shouldn't require a weapon. So we'll do cost 3. Well, let's go with limb. Limb and weapon or arm. There we go. We'll make it kind of wacky. Rank 1. Facing. Good old 6 to 9. Boilerplate there. We're going to make this an agility-based one. Ooh. Or should it be senses? Oh, I'll make it agility. Fuck it. Fuck it. It's fine. It's fine. Alright, effect. And we're going to put that verbiage in there. Alright. Your misleading swipes and feints. I think that's how you spell feints. Maybe it's not. Am I saying that right? I gotta look it up now.
Faint.
Oh no, it is feint. I've always heard it as feint in D&D.
Faint.
Alright, well, it's feint then. Okay, so feint and faint.
Faint.
Have different spellings, but the same pronunciation, so that's fine. And that's lovely. The feint versus faint. Yeah, this I mean the boxer feint here. Oh, okay, well that's Facebook. Wonderful. Okay, just wonderful. I don't care for that. Let's just minimize this bad boy again. Here we go. Okay, so it is feint. Oh, should I make this a feint? No, it's fine. You're misleading swipes and feints. Misdirect your foe and let your slippery strike slide between their defenses. I like that. If the enemy defends against the strike, they must either pay 1 effort or reduce their defenses by 1d. I also spell misdirect, and that really doesn't require any keywords. There we go. Defense penetrating strike. Very, very simple. I really like this. This actually reminds me of one of my favorite things I ever designed, which was Bleeding Hedgehog Defense, which has this power where... Actually, let me just pull it up. Or was it Grit? It might have been Grit I'm thinking about. Yeah, it's an Earth-Splitting Tetsubo. I think it's Grit. Yeah, okay. So Grit is a cool power. The way it works is it's got the same costing mechanism as this. It's a defense, so it's facing 0 to 3. There's no requirement. It's just requirement your stubborn will to live, so that's fun. Alright, effect. You simply absorb the foe's attack, gritting your teeth and bearing through the pain. Rather than pay the prana cost of this technique, you can voluntarily take 1d10 damage and pay for it in your own flesh. Now, you might notice right away that increasing your defense by 1 rank is the same thing as reducing their potential damage by 10. They can do 10 damage with 1 rank, or you can take up to 10 damage. So when you roll that die, you're banking on getting a number lower than 10 and reducing it. The worse you roll, the lower you roll, the better of a defense it is. I love that power. It is a very luck-based power, and it's a legitimate trade-off, because you will generally, like, on average, 5.5, right? So you could, for free, with no requirements, just reduce their damage by an average of right about 6, right? Rounding that up with a little bit of luck, you can do 6 reduced for free, like that. But you might roll a 10 and take all the damage they were going to defend against you. And that feels like you just gritting your teeth and taking the hit. and just it not mattering whether or not you feel pain because they just happen to hit a vital organ. I love that power. It feels very right in play, and it's a legitimate tactical consideration, so it gives you an interesting choice to make. So that's kind of like an ideal technique. It's powerful. That is actually strong. Saying you will reduce all future minor attacks by 6 damage on average, like, that's pretty powerful, right? But there's an element of human psychology to it, and there's also an element of true luck at the core of it. You are still taking a calculated risk with it. I love that. It's so great. And you don't have to. You can just increase your defense by 1. So that's still a pretty useful defense anyway. So I really, really like that one. So yeah. Actually, come to think of it, because it is a facing-based thing, you actually can't truly screw yourself with it. So you just say, okay, I only want 1 defense, I only want 1 die out of this, but I'm going to make it facing 3. So that's a 13. The most damage you could take from that would be 10, so you will always at least reduce their incoming damage by 3. So actually, okay, I made a miscalculation there. You can technically, if it's a single die defense, come out on top of that every single time. So that's pretty powerful. But a 1 die defense sort of sucks. That's what you're able to get more or less anyway, with your effortless roll. So it makes your effortless 3 points higher. It basically gives you armor 3, which again you could just put on your body. You can just wear armor 3. So that's not so bad. And that doesn't, I guess that stacks with armor, so that's pretty powerful. Okay, maybe grit is broken. Oops. Oh well. Wear armor. Make sure that you actually read when you proofread, or else words like trike, which don't have a red underline under them, will still slip through. There we go, now it's a strike. But anyway, so okay, grit's broken. Oops, when I actually thought about all the rules. Yeah, wear good armor. Always use grit instead of your effortless defense, and it will always be free, and it will always at least net you a reduced 3 damage, and it will on average net you a reduced 8 to 9 damage. That's really good, actually. Grit rules. Buy grit. I thought it was balanced in a fun way, and it's actually broken, and oops, it's already in print, so I can't fix it now. So yeah, grit is really good. It's the best defense in the game. Oopsie. Well, okay. It's not. It is the most utilitarian. Remember Crocus and the Keeper of Crocus? Okay, it's the Keeper of Crocus. Why would you use a different defense when you have grit? It doesn't require you to have anything else, so you can always use it, right? You will always come out on top with a single die, and if you have armor, it's got an even more expanded energy because it stacks with armor, and it's free, so you will always save your prana. So grit is the most powerful, why wouldn't you have this no-brainer defense in the game? I probably should have put something in here where you don't, like, if I was going to errata this, I would say you cannot, like this, you must sacrifice the use of your armor to use grit, or you cannot be wearing armor with grit, both of which would really suck. And would vastly reduce its brokenness. And in addition to that, I would probably, let's see here, if it was a single die defense, which it does give you a single die defense, I might just make this facing 0 instead of 0 to 3. So yeah, the 2 ways I would errata this, and I might just write this in the book, is I'll make it facing 0 always, so you can't get that +3, and I would say that if you use grit, and you use the alternative costing mechanism, then it doesn't stack with armor at all. So those are my fixes to grit, and then it does what it's supposed to do. So again, you never know. You never know what a power is going to wind up being until you really think about it and play test it. Right now, grit's broken. That's how it's going to get fixed one of these days. And now I've got that recorded, so that's great. Okay, so I've been on here for 2 hours. I'm going to stop. This has been a lot of fun. I'm going to keep this recording and maybe upload it to YouTube because I'm a masochist. Thank you, all of you, for hanging out with me for 2 hours. This was a lot of fun. I'm going to keep writing, I got a few more things to write, and then I will see you guys all tomorrow if you want to hang out with me. I'll do another thing about this same bat time and same bat channel. It seems like a good time to stream. And hasta luego, everybody. Farewell. Goodbye. I'm going to stop the stream and then stop the recording. That's what I'm going to do. Stream stopped.